but that should be okay, I think. So this will happen no matter what, and the collect module output task may actually wait for that. Like if the module is working, it may wait for the module to be finished producing whatever it's trying to produce. But in the first place, we need to potentially fuel that module with some kind of fuel. So I have on my modules an input field, and that will be like building 1 takes coal, building 2 takes coal. And this is going to be kind of painful to see because it's dark, but in this case, building 1 is a burner miner drill, which obviously takes coal or wood, and then or any burnable, I guess. And then the furnace also takes coal or wood. So I just have type coal in here for now. We might do something in here where the type is could be a burnable. So we'll figure that out. Okay, so I'm wondering if I should put that in the collect module output task, like make that include fueling the thing, the module. So I guess if we're saying that the module is going to be some more complicated class, then I could just ask the module if it has any of that type available for collection. So if the module has that output available, whatever that output is, then we will just go ahead and push a task at the start. There's probably an else. Maybe this actually needs to be the other way around, so maybe we have something along the lines of... I guess we could have the module enqueue its own task, right? So we'll have something like local tasks, insert an array. At the end we're going to do push start the array. So if if we don't have any available, this is going to be tasks, number tasks. This one. So if it doesn't have any available, we're basically going to say this.module generate fueling. Well, maybe generate tasks for output. I'm trying to keep it as general as possible so that I can have different tasks that maybe don't require fuel, different modules that don't require fueling but do require other things. Oops.type. And then that's going to give me back some tasks. So for I task in pairs, I guess it can be I pairs because it's an array. If that's going to be an array, I guess I could just set tasks to be that as well. Okay, that's going to be much easier. Tasks equals that. Because there's nothing in the tasks array yet, so I'll just blow the original tasks array away. And then at the end, I will add a task. So this could be the only task in it, or it could be the last task after these guys, and then we'll push them all at the start. Excellent. Hey, yes, exclusive. I am building an AI that will play Factorio for me. And ideally, I won't have to touch a keyboard at all. Right now we're having maybe some pathing issues would be the way to say it. Eventually we will get that all figured out, but yes, pathing issues and a little bit of placement issues, stuff like that. But yeah, the idea is it's a task-based system. The tasks will know what they need in order to, like as prerequisites, what needs to happen before this task can happen. And so then the start of the game will be something along the lines of, in here instead of like build this module, it will be like launch rocket task. And then the point of like the way that that task ends up being done will be do the required research and build the required base stuff and blah 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 blah, all the way back down, all the way to the very beginning when you have a burner and a furnace and you're making iron plates, rubbing sticks together. So this is kind of the overall goal of the game. Right now we're still at the rubbing sticks together phase, but we'll get there. Okay, so we just put a bunch of we just basically used the tech credit card to make this logic super easy. So now I need to go and actually implement that in the module. Okay, so I'm going to copy my constructor resource source. Here we go. I'm actually going to call this base module just because it's a little bit overloaded with, you know, speed module or productivity module or whatever. Not a bake module, although that would be great. Okay, so the base module is going to have this stuff, and then these guys are going to be new base modules. And we're going to construct that with all of this information. And then the burner to burner module new will create one of these. So let me just update the burner to furnace. Okay. Then we need to include the base module. Okay. Okay. And now, what were the two functions that I invented to make this much easier for me to not have to code? Okay, has output available. I'm just going to call it product. Okay, so now what we need to do is pretty much as the module gets built. Okay, we can maybe add some more stuff in here as well, but this is going to be this dot buildings. I guess this dot outputs, and then the building ID. Okay, great. So for the actual building for this is going to be buildings of the building number dot entity. Okay, so this dot buildings output dot building, because that's the building number. Okay, so then the actual entity for that building if the entity hasn't been built or the entity is no longer valid, type out building. Woodling. Woodling is not good. Thanks exclusive. That's why we pay program. Okay, so if not entity or not entity valid, we want to basically check if the building has some of this product in its output. Okay. And then the has output available. We're not actually checking the quantity, but that's okay because we can just go and pick up as much as we need. And I guess that's the point of the max quantity thing in here. The collect module output task will just say up to max quantity. Okay. And then the other one is going to be generate task for output. Right? Yep. Now I think for the basic modules, like these burner to burner, burner to furnace, like really the only thing is that you need to put in like one thing. And if it's ongoing, then you may need to keep putting it in. I don't even know if the ongoing flag is going to be necessary, because basically we'll just check if there's iron plates in the furnace, and if there's not, then we'll say you got to put coal everywhere. I don't know, maybe it's useful. For now, I think we'll just leave it as it is in terms of the module definition, and we'll just see if we can make it work that way. So here we're going to basically say make sure that inputs are satisfied, and then maybe wait until the output building has output available. And that might be a task as well, like wait for output as a task. Whew, okay. Okay, so how do we check if the product exists at the building's output? What happened to the TV? Oh good, it's off. Okay. So it's gonna be a little entity. Get output inventory. Perfect. Okay, great. So okay. Then we will get the item count and assume that that's greater than 0. Something like that. Okay, so if we get through all the buildings, and none of them are, none of them have any of that item in their inventory, then we're going to return false. And if we are working through the buildings and we find one of them that is valid and has the item in the inventory, in the output inventory, then we're going to return true. Okay. Okay, so now generate tasks for output. This is sort of where some of the magic is going to happen, I guess. This is just going to return an array of tasks. Boop. And then at the end, it's going to return those tasks. And I think here we're going to need to do some kind of a fuel building task, something like that. So maybe, okay, so for I an input in this, let's say I pairs this dot inputs. Yep. And I'm now referring to these inputs here. So let's get the building for that input. Okay, this building's of input building. And we get the entity for that. Entity is the building dot entity. We need to remember to do when building a module, keep track of the completed buildings.